Welcome back, scientists. I hope you have your Cornell Notes template ready. Our topic is Earth's layers and physical properties. This is going to be a pretty short lecture today, so be thankful for that. We're really just diving into the very surface of how do we divide the Earth into layers and what kind of categories do scientists use when they are doing that. Our essential question is, what properties do scientists use to divide the Earth into layers? So first up, we are going to talk about the chemical compositions of the Earth right along in here. So, Earth's layers, chemical composition. We've got three main layers here. Our very outer crust of the Earth. This is the part that you most often think of. We've got two types of that. We've got the continental crust and we've got the oceanic crust. And the difference between these two is that oceanic crust is much denser than continental crust. We've also got the mantle. The mantle is the entire middle layer of the Earth. And the mantle is solid. But the interesting thing about the mantle is that it moves. The convection currents that we learned about in our last video lecture are at play here in the mantle, because the mantle has warm rock, it has cold rock, and both of those are slowly flowing. So you can think of this mantle as like a very odd sort of solid where it is behaving almost the way you would think that a liquid would. And then finally, we've got the core. The core is the center of the Earth. It is the most dense of the three. These three are differentiated by their densities, with the crust being the least dense, floating on top of everything else, mantle being the middle, kind of medium density, and then the core being extremely dense. And it actually takes up about 1/3 of the Earth's mass because it is so dense, even though it kind of seems relatively small. So our second way that we've got to divide the Earth's layers is by their physical composition, and these kind of overlap with the chemical compositions, the density properties that we had in the last one. We've got 5 physical layers, and the first one is the lithosphere. The lithosphere contains the crust and the upper portion of the mantle. So the mantle can be divided actually into two parts. The upper portion, which is relatively brittle and kind of hard, and then the lower portion, and the lower portion falls into the asthenosphere. Lithosphere also is divided into tectonic plates. So when we were talking about the breakup of Pangaea, we were talking about the movement of the lithosphere. The asthenosphere is the soft middle portion of the mantle. The middle portion of the mantle is kind of weak and flows very slowly, and it's what our tectonic plates actually float and move across. So the movement of the asthenosphere kind of drives the motion of our tectonic plates. Finally, down there we've got the mesosphere. The mesosphere is our very middle portion of our Earth, and this is the lowest portion of the mantle. This portion of the mantle is it flows much more slowly. That's how we kind of differentiate it between the mesosphere and the asthenosphere. The asthenosphere moves more quickly, the mesosphere moves much more slowly. Physical composition continued. We've got 2 more layers, the outer core and the inner core. Our core is divided up into 2, and the way that we divide this up is really easy. The outer core is liquid, so it's completely liquid, it's flowing, it's right around there in the outer core. And the inner core is a solid. It's very dense, center of the Earth. And that's it. So, vocabulary that we covered in here, we've got liquids, solids, density, and then we've got our science words of asthenosphere, lithosphere, crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. Go ahead, go back in your notes and either highlight or underline those vocab words so that you can find them again. Make sure you have your definitions there ready for them when you need them. Thanks, scientists. Signing off.